Good evening, everyone. Shall we start? Can you all hear me? Okay. So welcome you all for this subject called the Advanced Financial Accounting. So today we will start our first session. Okay. So today we will discuss regarding the conceptual framework for the financial reporting. So do you have any idea regarding this conceptual framework? Do you aware of this term? Yes, anyone? Any idea? No? Okay, fine, I will tell you. So just think before you building a house, what you are doing. An engineer will prepare a blueprint, right? Like where you have to build the walls and where you have to place your doors and how strong the foundation should be. Like that, we are putting a plan. We are just making a plan, and based on that only we are going to build a house. Likewise, for the accounting also there should be a foundation. So we can't prepare the financial statements and everything as our wish. We have to follow some sort of standards as well as some sort of concepts. So for that, so this conceptual framework is the base idea or foundation how we are going to prepare this accounting. Okay, so how can we define this conceptual framework is it is a basic accounting concept and principle we are using to prepare the financial statement consistently. That means now let's say I am preparing a financial statement in my own way and another person is preparing the financial statement his way. It means there are some sort of differences, right? So in order to maintain the consistency, we have to follow as a company, as an organization, we have to follow the same structural patterns. So for that, we can use this conceptual framework. Okay, got it? We are telling for this conceptual framework, this is Sankalpamaya Ramuva. Okay, that is what the conceptual framework is. So you should be aware how to define this one. So under the conceptual framework, what are the things they are going to explain is they are explaining the objectives of financial reporting, the objective of general purpose financial reporting, and what are the qualitative characteristics of a useful financial information. So here we are talking about accounting, right? So accounting means what? Accounting means what? It is a kind of process we are giving information to our stakeholders, right? We are giving information, financial information to our stakeholders in order to make the information. So if we are giving information, that should be a proper one. That should be the true as well as the proper information. So while we are providing those financial information, there should be some characteristics, so those things coming under this conceptual framework, as well as this financial statement. We are preparing, normally we are preparing 5 financial statements. What are the five financial statements we are preparing? Any idea? You can drop me a text. You can put it in the chat box at least. Yes, cash flow statement, balance sheet, and what else? Income statement. So these are the financial. Normally, we are preparing five financial statement: income statement, uh, balance sheet, as well as the notes, cash flow statement, changes in equity. These are the five financial statements. So to prepare those financial statements, we have some formats. These are the things we have to include in the financial income statement, and these are the things we have to include in the balance sheet. Like that, we have certain kind of criteria. Those things also explain under this conceptual framework. Okay, and the another thing coming under this conceptual framework is recognition and derecognition. What does it mean? Normally, we have five financial statements. Likewise, we have five accounting elements. What are the accounting elements? You should know the difference between accounting elements as well as accounting statements. Accounting elements means what? Accounting elements means what are the items we are going to show it in the financial statements. That means assets, what come, as well as what assets, liabilities, වගකීම්, income, ආදායම, expenses, our expenses, as well as what else? Equity. Those are the five items we are going to mention in our financial statement. We have to show what are the assets we have, what kind of liability we have, and what is the equity, and what are the income we are getting, what are the expenses we are making. Those things we have to put it in these financial statements. No, while we are recognizing those financial statements, we can't say everything is an asset and we can't say everything is liability. There should be some, we are just recognizing this as an asset based on some characteristics. So those characteristics also will come under this conceptual framework. Okay, and there are some measurements principles. That means sometimes we can measure the things in the historical basis. That means now let's say you have purchased a land on 2015. Okay, you have purchased a land on 2015. The cost is like let's say the cost is 5 lakhs. Okay, when you are buying that, when you were buying that land on that period, the cost is 5 lakh. So now sometimes if the company is following historical based costing method, what they can do is in the financial statement, in the balance sheet, they can mention the land value is 5 lakh, but actually the land value may be differ in 2026. No, it may be increased or decreased. Now let's say you are going to revalue that land amount. So that means in 2026 the actual revaluation amount, the market price of the particular land is 10 lakhs. That means in that cases it is better to put the mention that 10 lakh in the financial statement. You are reevaluating the land and just recording the actual, the market price, the current price of the assets. Likewise, the measurements methods also coming under this conceptual framework. Okay, so this is the basic idea what is this conceptual framework is. Okay, so let's look at one by one. So Just we, I told you, the conceptual framework is acting as a foundation for the accounting. So, what will be the advantages and disadvantages of this conceptual framework? What do you think? What do you think? What kind of advantages might be there? So the one we can say is consistency. That means every company, every listed company is following this conceptual framework. Due to that, there might be a consistency between all the financial statement. So easily we can compare our financial statement with our competitors. So no need to worry about anything because they are also following same thing. So that is one of the advantages, as well as uh, that will it will be the base for the accounting standard. So conceptual framework is not an accounting standard, but based on this conceptual framework only, we have developed like LKAS, we have some sort of accounting standards, no? LKAS and SLFRS we have developed. So these standards have been developed based on this foundation. So another advantage we can see is it is better for accounting standard. So normally internationally we have IASB, that means International Accounting Standards are there. So conceptual framework providing the basic idea to to create these LKS as well as the SLFRS. And the next advantage is it reduces the political pressure. What does it mean? Political pressure means, so normally, let's say if we are following the way we want, in that cases we have to show. That means if we are maintaining a company, we have to show our recordings and everything to the government. The auditing people will. We have to show our if we are earning more than to some extent, we have to pay the tax, right? So we have a tax liability. So in that cases the government pressure is coming inside. So this conceptual framework makes sure there might be a less amount of the political pressure if we are following this conceptual framework. Okay, that means you are showing to the government you are following the globally accepted principle. That means you are doing every statements according to the generally accepted principle that is worldwide acceptable. So it will be fine for your company. Okay, so these are the and promotes the consistency. That's what I told you at the beginning. So these are the major importance, major advantages of following this conceptual framework. Okay, is it okay? Any issues? And the disadvantages means, okay. So the here, what are the demerits we can identify in the conceptual framework is a single framework may not suit for the diverse need of all the users of financial statement. That means we have several stakeholders. No, for a company we have so many stakeholders. Who are the stakeholders? Stakeholders are the people who have interest on our company, like owners, employees, managers, and the chief executive officer, whoever. A government, society, customers, suppliers, competitors. Likewise, we have several stakeholders. Each and every stakeholder has some interest on our company. Means now let's say if we take the investor is looking at our company for what purpose? He will just looking at our company whether our company is running in a profitable way or not. Then only he will invest in our company. At the same time, government will looking at us whether we are following the rules and regulations of the government and whether we are paying the taxes and everything. And customers will be look at on us whether we are providing the good quality product with the affordable price. So likewise, each of the stakeholder has different interest on our company. So this is the kind of single framework. If the stakeholder has different kind of what interest, it will be to difficult to just let's say fulfill all the interest of the stakeholders. That is the one of the disadvantages of this conceptual framework. That's what we have several standard. Now LKS 1 we have to prepare the financial statement, and we have LKS 2 to identify the inventories, and we have LKS 16 to identify the property plant equipment. Likewise, for each and everything, we have developed the LKS as well as the SLFRS. So, this conceptual framework is not enough. This single framework is not enough to prepare all the accounting process. That is one disadvantage. Okay. And the next one we can say, it is not clear that the framework makes the preparing and implementing the standard easier than without one. So that means rather than the standards and the other standard, if let's say you are using only the conceptual framework, that won't make any sense in your in preparing your accounting stuffs. So you have to make sure with this conceptual framework you have to follow other standards too. So this is kind of a disadvantage. Okay. So just understand what is this conceptual framework is and what are the advantages and disadvantages are there. Okay. So the major objective and the purpose of this conceptual framework is it has three purposes. The first one is it will be helpful for the um IASB. That means uh, based on this, we can develop the new accounting standard. Based on this conceptual framework, we can build some accounting standard. That is one of the objective of this, and it will helps to the accountants to. Now let's say now you are working as an accountant, or you are working as an assistant accountant. At the beginning of your work, if just at the beginning of the work you will be appointed as a junior. After assistant accountant you will be junior accountant and senior accountant. Likewise, you have to go step by step, right? So now once you are appointed as an assistant accountant, if they have asked you to prepare the reconciliation part, or if they have asked you to prepare the income statement, balance sheet, the basic thing, you should know what are the item you are going to recognize as income, what are the item you are going to put it as an expense. So those things are coming under this conceptual framework. So for the accountant, in order to recognize the element, this will be very helpful. That is one of the another objective of this conceptual framework. Okay. And it will help to other users also. That means investors, auditors, as well as other like us. Students also can understand the accounting standard and concept easily by understanding this conceptual framework. And as well as this is based on the IFRS concept. That means international standards we are calling IFRS, International Accounting Standard. So this international based on this international accounting standard only, these conceptual framework uh, have been developed. So this will be helpful to understand the IFRS, as well as in Sri Lankan perspective we can understand the LKS as well as the SLFRS. Okay, so these are the major idea regarding this conceptual framework. So far, do you have any questions or do you have any issues? Okay. So if you have any language issues also, please let me know. If any terms, if you can't understand, please tell me, then I can explain. Okay. So next we will move to the qualitative characteristic of this financial information. I told you accounting means what? We are recording the transaction. So accounting is a process. So what is the process of accounting? Can anyone tell me what is the process of accounting? So at the beginning, what we are doing, the transactions will happen, right? Once the transactions will happen, we are recording it in the prime entry books. Okay, we are recording it in the prime entry books. Then we are converting into the ledger accounts, and then after that, we will prepare the trial balance. From that, we will prepare the financial statement. Okay, so using this financial statement, we are giving information to our stakeholders. So, major objective of this financial accounting is to provide the information. So, while we are providing the information, those information should possess these kind of characteristic. The qualitative characteristic should be there. So what are the qualitative characteristics? What do you think about these qualitative characteristics? Normally we are categorizing these qualitative characteristics into two: fundamental characteristic and enhancing characteristics. Okay, fundamental characteristics means what? Those are the basic, those are the foundation, like we can say, like fundamental characteristics are kind of foundational characteristics. So here the fundamental characteristic, in under the fundamental characteristic we have another characteristics too. That means that should be relevance and faithful representation. Relevant and faithful representation means, relevant and faithful representation means what? Any idea? So here, when we are talking about the term relevance, information should be relevant to the particular stakeholders. That means, if we are telling, let's say, we are just putting the information that is not relevant to the company, we are just recording whatever the things that should not be, it should not be like that. The financial information should be relevant to the particular stakeholders. If it is relevance, there should be three characteristics. If now if we are going to say the particular information is relevant, that means there should be three characteristics. The characteristics are predictive value. That means, um, we can be able to predict the future information. In past there might be some informations, no, based on the past information, if we can predict the future, that is what the predictable value. Now let's say, for example, in last 5 years you are earning, there is an increase in profitability. Like let's say you have analyzed, based on your analysis, you have analyzed there is a 10 percentage increment in the in your profitability. Then based on that you are assuming that you are just predicting in future also, in upcoming 2027 also you can earn 5 percentage, you can assume, you can predict that 5 percentage increment in your sales. Likewise, if you can predict the information, that is what the predictive value. Okay, and the confirmatory value means what? What does it mean? Confirmatory value means it should be It should be conform. The information should be conform. That means based on the evidence, you could be able to conform these information. Okay, that means let's say based on the previous information, you can be able to confirm this can be happen like that. If you could be able to confirm the particular value, we are telling that information is relevant. And the another characteristic is materiality. Materiality means vedagatkhama. That means what? Now let's say in your financial statement you forgot to record 100 millions of 100 million sales. That means will it be impact on your financial statement or not? That is 100 million amount of the sales you forgot to record in the financial statement. That means it will impact on your profitability, right? It will be surely it will impact on your profitability. Now let's say you have spent 100 rupees or 150 rupees to buy some pens and stationery items to your company. So if you forgot to record that one, it won't impact much in your profitability. It is just 150. Likewise, you have to analyze which items are material, which items are immaterial. So if the particular information should be relevance means there should be three characteristics. What are those characteristics? What are those characteristics? Any idea? So if the particular information is relevant means you should know there should be three characteristics. What are the three characteristics, students? The predictive value, confirmatory value, and materiality. Okay. Is it okay? Predictive, confirmatory, and materiality. These are the three characteristics should be there. If it is written these terms, okay, I hope you can understand. If you have any issues, please drop me a message. So the one fundamental characteristic is relevance. That is okay now. The next one, faithful representation. What does it mean? Faithful representation means the your information should be true. The information that you are giving to your stakeholders, that should be true and fair. That is what the faithful representation is. Under the faithful representation we have another three characteristics. That means these are the three characteristics should become under the faithful representation. So that means if the particular information should be faithfully represented, that means um, that should be complete. Now let's say you are providing information that is not complete. Incomplete information means that is not a faithful representation. So that should be complete. The information should be the sampurna vennone. If it is not complete, we can't say that is faithful representation. At the same time, it should be neutral. That means what? There should not be no biases. If you are making some biases, that means you are intentionally you are reducing your expenses. Intentionally you are showing increment in the profit. That means that is not in true information, right? That is not faithful representation. So there must be a neutral. That is another characteristic. And the free from errors. Free from errors means what? The informations that you are recording, that should be free from errors. There should not be any errors, any mistakes. So if you particular information consisting of these characteristics, we are telling that as a faithful representation. Okay, keep it in your mind. We are categorizing these qualitative financial two fundamental characteristic and enhancing. The one is relevance, another one is faithful representation. If the particular information is relevant, the relevant when only now main characteristic should be there. There should be predictive confirmatory value, as well as there should be materiality. ඒ වගේම faithful representation වෙන්න ඕනේ නම් there should be these characteristics. Complete වෙන්න ඕනේ, neutral වෙන්න ඕනේ, and free from errors වෙන්න ඕනේ. Mistakes නැතිව තියෙන්න ඕනේ. Okay. So these are the fundamental characteristics. Is it okay? Okay. So the next one is enhancing characteristics. Enhancing characteristic means under that we have four things: comparability, verifiability, timeliness, understandability. Comparability means what? The financial statement or informations we are providing to the stakeholders should be comparable. That means we could be able to compare one company to another. That means when we can be able to compare with our competitors, as well as we can be able to compare with our previous years. Then only we can evaluate whether the company is running in the profitable way or not. So that is what the comparability is. Okay. And next one is verifiability. Verifiability means the information you are providing, that should be verified. You could be able to verify the particular information. Due to that only you know the auditing. Once the accounting process is over, what companies are doing, they are making the auditing process. That means another independent authority, independent role is coming to the company, and they are evaluating whether the information provided by the company is true and fair. They are evaluating all the financial statements prepared by the management is free from errors, free from material misstatements. So that is what the verifiability is. They could be able to verify with the particular evidence. Okay. Timeliness means what? Normally, you are a year, right? For the particular financial year, end of the financial year, you are issuing your financial statement. So within the particular financial information should cover this time also. Within that period, within the gap, the information should be relevant. Now let's say you are preparing financial statements for 2026. Okay, but you are including the informations which are in 2015. You have purchased a furniture or something, but you are recording that amount. That means, is it relevant to this 2026? So if we are providing information, the information in 2026 means that should be that should happen in the particular financial year. Okay. And understandability. Understandability means what? Every stakeholder should be able to understand the concept. They could be able to clearly understand what is you are presenting through your financial statement. So these are the four enhancing characteristics. So keep it in your mind, these things. Enhancing characteristics there are four enhancing characteristics: comparability, verifiability, timeliness, as well as understandability. Okay, is it okay? So these are theoretical parts. We will do the calculations parts in upcoming future classes. So don't think these are the theoretical parts now. Due to that, it is not much important. These questions from these areas in MCQs. And if you know these basic concept only, you can move towards the advanced accounting steps, advanced accounting calculations and all. Okay, so these things you have to be keep it in your mind. Is it okay? Shall we move to the next part? Any issues so far? Okay, so we'll move to the next one. Here, uh, financial statements and elements. So here they have uh, just classified these financial. These five items we are telling financial elements. Okay, these are the financial statements elements. What are the items we are going to represent in the financial statements? So the first one is asset. What is asset actually? It is a kind of, those are what come, right? What are the resources you have? Assets indicates that if they have asked from you to define the term asset, you should know the characteristic. You have to define the asset with all those characteristics. That means asset should be arise from the past transaction. The first characteristic should be the particular asset should be arise from the past transaction, as well as a company can be able to control that asset. The first one is that can arise from the past transaction, as well as the particular asset can be controllable by the company. At the same time, asset means the asset should be should uh, it should make the case inflows of the economic resources. Because of the assets, we can get some inflows, right? Because of the asset, we are not making any outflows. Because of the asset, the cash is coming inside. So asset means the asset can be produce some cash inflows of the economic resources. So that is the third characteristic. So while you are defining the asset, you have to make sure all these characteristics you have mentioned. Okay. So normally, what are the examples we can give for these assets? What are the examples we can give? Assets means what are the examples? Yes, any idea? Assets means what are the examples we can give? So we can say cash and cash equivalents, or else furnitures, land, and our trade receivables, bank account, cash account, inventories, everything is an asset, right? So if we are in the asset, we can classify the assets into two categories. What are the two categories? We can classify that as a current asset as well as non-current asset. Current assets means what? Those are the short-term assets like cash and cash equivalent, inventories, and trade receivables. Those are coming under the current assets. Non-current assets means those are great more than 1 year period of time we are going to use. That means land, building, like all the other property, plant, equipment, furnitures, those things will come under the non-current assets. Okay. Okay, so here that you should know how to give the examples for the assets too. And the next one is liability. Liability means what? Vagakim. That means those are the obligations. We can say the opposite characteristics of the assets will come as liability. That means those are present obligation, as well as these liabilities also arising from the past transaction, and due to the liability economic resources will go out. So asset will providing the inflows of the economic resources, but the liabilities will cause the outflows of the economic resources. So what are the characteristics of the liability? It is a present obligation, as well as it is also arising from the past transaction, and it will cause the outflow of these economic resources. Okay, so these are the characteristics of the liability. We can classify the liability also into two: current liability as well as non-current liability. Non-current liability means what? Those are the liabilities which are greater than 1 year. We can say the bank loan. Normally, the bank loans are the non-current liabilities. Current liabilities means those are the liabilities we can short it out within the 12 months period of time, within the 1 year period of time, like trade payables, or else bank overdraft, OD, the trade payables, as well as other small liabilities will come under these current liabilities. Accrual expenses, those things will come under the current liability. Okay, so you should know how to define each of these as well as the examples. And the next element is equity. So what does it mean by the equity? So equity means here that indicate the income. That means the owner's residual interest. How much that is for owners. That means in the company we have assets. No, we have assets and we have liability. So from the asset, if we deduct the all liabilities, we can get the equity portion. Okay, so it indicates that um, if we deduct all the liabilities from our assets, the remaining portion we are telling as equity. Okay, so when we are talking about the equity, you should know what are the items that will increase the equity, what are the items that will reduce the equity. Okay, so now let's say sometimes the owner can put some additional capital. No, if owner has put additional capital, what will happen to this equities? Equity will increase. Okay, if any income has happened, equity also will increase. Okay, at the same time, if the owner has taken some sort of cash or some inventory for his own purpose, we are telling that as drawings. Okay, if there are any drawings, what will happen? Equity will reduce. Okay, and if there are any expenses, In that cases also equity will reduce. So these are the four instances that will make changes in the equity. If there are any additional capital or income, equity will increase. If there are any drawings or expenses, equity will reduce. So we can take this equity by from the asset. If we deduct all the liabilities, we can take the remaining portion as equity. Okay. And the next one is income and expenses. Income and expenses means how can we define that is increase in asset or decrease in liability resulting in increasing equity. That means if there are any increase will happen to asset will increase, liability will decrease as well as equity will increase. Okay. Now the same way, if we have any expenses, what will happen? The opposite we have said so far. If there are any expenses, asset will reduce, and the liability will increase, and in equity also will reduce. So how can we define this income and expenses? If there are any increment in the equity rather than the additional capital එකක් නැතුව equity එකේ මොනවා හරි increment එකක් තියනවා නම් ඒක තමයි අපි කියන්නේ income කියලා. Okay. ඒ වගේම expense කියන්නේ මේ if owners did if rather than the owners ලගේ drawings එක නැතුව equity එකේ මොනවා හරි decrease එකක් තියනවා නම් that is what we are telling expenses. Okay. So you should know how to give the examples. Income means what are the examples we can give? The major income is sales income, we can say. Rather than that, rent income, interest income, or discount received, those are the income. Expenses, example, electricity expenses, rent expenses, telephone bill expenses, and delivery vehicle expenses. Likewise, we have so many expenses, right? So you should know how to give all the examples for all these elements. Okay. I hope this is clear, this elements part. Is it okay? Okay. So here the next part we will do. Okay. The next part, recognition, derecognition, and measurement. So what does it mean? Now we have learned how we are going to identify asset. Asset කියන්නේ මොනවද? Liability කියන්නේ මොනවද? Equity කියන්නේ මොනවද? ඒ වලට තියෙන්න ඕනේ characteristics මොනවද කියලා අපි බලුවානේ. එතකොට ඒව ටික කොහොමද අපි financial statements එකේ දාන්නේ? Asset කියනකොට now කොහොමද අපි non current asset එකක් identify කරගෙන ඒවා කොහොමද දාන්නේ? ඒ කියන්නේ ඒවා historical cost වලින් අපි දානවද? නැත්නම් revaluation කරලා ඒ value එක දානවද කියන එක තමයි මෙතන recognition and the derecognition and measurements කියන්නේ. While we are recognizing these things, we have four ways. We can do it in the four methods. One is historical one. වෙලාවේ කොච්චරක් ප්‍රයිස් එකක් තිබ්බද ඒ ප්‍රයිස් එකම අපි දානවා නම් ඒක තමයි කියන්නේ historical value කියලා. Now let's say you have purchased a furniture for 25 lakhs on 2018. You have purchased furniture for 25 lakhs වලට ඔයා purchase කරා කියමුකෝ. Now you are in 2026. එතකොට in 2026 මේ furniture එකේ price එක change වෙන්න පුළුවන්. There might be increment or there might be in decrease වෙලා තියෙන්නත් පුළුවන්, increase වෙලා තියෙන්නත් පුළුවන්. එතකොට ඒව ඔයා බලන්න නැතුව just we are recording this 25 lakhs in 2026 also මේ ඔයා මේ 25 lakhs ම record කරනවා. If it's so, we are telling that method as historical cost. Okay, historical cost is that one. And the next one is uh, historical cost අපි දානකොට අපි depreciation, impairment ඒ වගේ දේවල් අපි consider කරන්නේ නැහැ. ඒ කියන්නේ revaluation එක revaluation වෙලා මොනවද වෙලා තියෙන්නේ, ඒ වගේම depreciation එකට මොනවද වෙලා තියෙන්නේ කියලා we are not considering much, not considering. That is what the historical cost is. So and the fair value indicates that fair value, the next method is fair value. Fair values means what? අපි දැන් ඉන්න මේ current price එක. ඒ කියන්නේ fair value evaluate කරනවා. The price that would be received to sell an asset or pay transfer liability. That means now let's say you have a land that value is 15 lakh. 15 lakh land value එකක් තියෙනවා. ඒ when you are going to sell that particular land. අපි හිතමු ඔයා ඒ land එක විකුණන්න යනවා කියලා. එතකොට ඒ වෙලාවේ අර කස්ටමර් මේ land එකට pay කරන්න හදන amount එක තමයි fair value. Now let's say even though the value is 15 lakhs, customer is accepted to pay 17 lakhs. එතකොට අපි කියන්නේ මේක තමයි fair value කියලා. Okay. The amount when you are selling the particular asset, the amount you will receive, that is the fair value, current market price. And the next one is value in use or fulfillment value. The value in use or fulfillment value means when you are recording the items, when you are recording the items in the financial statements. That means now let's say you have a machinery. You have a machinery that is useful lifetime is 10 years. But you have already used that machinery for 5 years. Now when you are buying that machinery, that is 10 lakh. Purchase කරනකොට ඒ machinery එකේ value එක 10 lakhs. Then the useful lifetime is 10 years. After that you have used for 5 years. Then still we have remaining 5 years. No. Then if we are going to sell that one after using the machinery, can you sell the machinery for the same value 10 lakh? No, right? Because you have already used that one. Then you have to evaluate after using this machinery for 5 years, what is the current value now? use කරපු එකට පස්සේ තියෙන value එක මොකද කියලා identify කරගෙන ඒ value එක අපි financial statements වල record කරනවා නම් ඒ method එක තමයි value in use or fulfillment value කියන්නේ. use කරපු එකට පස්සේ තියෙන value එක. Okay. And the next one is current cost. Current cost means what? The cost of an equivalent asset at the measurement date, comprising consideration that would be paid at the date plus transaction cost. That means now you are going to sell that particular asset in the current market. Okay, in the current market, there might be some value. No, now let's say you have a furniture that cost is 100,000. The actual cost of that particular furniture is 100,000. Now you are going to sell it in the market. In the market, the price is 85,000. Okay, price is 85,000. At the same time, in order to do this selling process, you have some sort of cost. That means මේ selling process එක කරන්න ඔයාලා 10,000 වගේ cost එකක් එනවා. ඒ කියන්නේ brokerage fees maybe there, another to bring the particular furniture, there might be some transportation expenses maybe there. Likewise, to sell that particular furniture, if you have some sort of cost like that, So total cost of selling this is 95,000. Then when you are recording in the financial statement, you can't record it as 100,000. ඔයා record කරන්න ඕනේ 95,000. ඒක තමයි current cost කියන්නේ. Now, what is the amount that is going on the market? With that, you have to add any cost sell කරන්න cost මොකක් හරි තියෙනවා නම් ඒකත් add කරලා දාන එක තමයි current cost. So these are the methods we are using in order to record these things. Historical cost තියෙනවා. We have 4 methods: historical cost, fair value method, as well as value in use method and current cost method. Okay, so here recognition means we are just recognizing the element. Derecognition කියන්නේ when we are selling. That means you will learn while you are doing the calculations. You will learn. Now let's say you are going to sell a particular motor vehicle. අපි කියමු motor vehicle cost එකක් තියෙනවා 100,000. හරි. ඒකට depreciation එකක් තියෙනවා 5,000 depreciation, accumulated depreciation amount එකක් තියෙනවා. ඒ වගේම මේ motor vehicle එක ඔයා sell කරන්නේ 15,000 වලට. හරිද? 15,000 sell කරනවා. එතකොට ඔයාට cash එක එන්නේ 15,000 කියලා. Then what the question is, you are going to evaluate මේ motor vehicle එක sell කරන නිසා ඔයාට profit එකක් තියනවද නැත්නම් loss එකක් එනවද කියලා ඔයා evaluate කරන්න ඕනේනේ. එතකොට අපි de-recognize කරනවා. ඒ කියන්නේ මේ motor vehicle එක අපි අයින් කරනවා. අයින් කරනකොට අපි මොනවද කරන්නේ? When we have to open a motor vehicle disposal account. ඒ account එකේ මේ cost එක 10,000 cost එක අයින් කරනවා නම් particular motor vehicle account credit, motor vehicle disposal account debit කියලා දානවා මේ cost එක. හරිද? motor vehicle account එකේ credit ඒ කියන්නේ motor vehicle කියන්නේ asset එකක්නේ. asset එකේ debit balance එක තියෙනවා. ඒ debit balance එක අයින් කරනවා නම් you have to put it as a credit. Then credit ඒකේ credit නම් where we have to put the debit. මෙහි motor vehicle asset එකේ debit නියනවා. ඒක අයින් කරනකොට අපි credit කරනවා. එතකොට motor vehicle account credit, motor vehicle disposal account debit කියලා දානවා. when we are removing a particular asset, we have to remove the depreciation also. අපි asset එකක් remove කරනවා නම් sell කරනවා නම් ඒකට තියෙන cost එකත් අයින් කරන්න ඕනේ. ඒකට තියෙන depreciation එකත් අයින් කරන්න ඕනේ. depreciation එක කොහොමද අයින් කරන්නේ? depreciation is in depreciation එක credit balance නේ. එතකොට depreciation credit එකේ තියෙන depreciation account එකේ accumulated depreciation account එකේ credit balance එකක් තියෙනවා 5,000. ඒක remove කරනවා නම් accumulated depreciation account debit as well as motor vehicle disposal account එකේ credit දාන්න ඕනේ. After that, because of this selling අපිට 15,000 cash එනවා නම් cash account එකේ debit වෙනවා. cash එකක් එනවා 15,000. ඒ වගේම motor vehicle එකේ credit වෙනවා 15,000. එතකොට අපි මේකේ balance ටික ගන්නකොට මෙතන 20,000 එනවා. මේ side එකේ 20,000, මෙතන 10,000 නේ. එතකොට 20,000 minus 10,000, the balance 10,000 කියන්නේ මේ 10,000 එක තමයි profit on disposal. එතකොට මෙහෙම profit on disposal හරි එහෙම නැත්නම් loss on disposal හරි අපි recognize කරගන්න ඕන නම් ඒක තමයි අපි කියන්නේ de-recognition. එතකොට cost එක අයින් කරනවා, accumulated depreciation එක අයින් කරන්න ඕනේ. එතකොට අපිට එන්නේ carrying amount. cost එකේ ඉඳලා අපි accumulated depreciation එක deduct කරාම අපිට එන්නේ carrying amount. ඒ carrying amount එකත් එක්ක අපි කීයක්ද අපිට ලැබුවේ? ඒ කියන්නේ ලැබුණේ disposal එකකින් අපිට කීයක්ද ලැබුණේ කියලා අපි compare කරන්න ඕනේ. cash එක කොච්චරක් ආවද කියලා. cash එකක් වැඩියෙන් ආවම ඒක profit වෙනවා. cash එක අඩුවෙන් ආවම අපිට ඒක loss එකක් වෙනවා. ඒ වගේ de-recognition වලට මේවා අපි historical cost එකෙන් කරනවද fair value එක කරනවද කියලා ඒවා අදාළ වෙනවා. Okay, so these are the things you should know regarding this. And the next one is presentation, disclosure, and capital maintenance. So, what does it mean? So, here, what does it mean? මොනවද මේකෙන් කියන්න හදන්නේ අපිට? Any idea regarding this? Presentation and disclosure කරන්නේ මොන වගේ දේවල්ද අපි ඉදිරිපත් කරන්න ඕනේ. ඒක තමයි මේකෙන් කියවන්නේ. presentation disclosure කරන්න ඕනේ අපි මොනවද items. ඒ කියන්නේ ඔක්කොම ටික අපි මේ financial statements වල දාන්න ඕනේ කියලා එකක් නැහැනේ. අපි informations, we have to put the informations which are relevant, which are material. Immaterial items තියෙනවා නම් ඒවා අපි දාන්න ඕනේ නැහැ. එතකොට effective presentation and disclosure. If you are preparing an effective financial statement, if you are going to prepare an effective financial statement, that should consider these things. That means here they have mentioned a balance sheet, a balance between flexibility and comparability. Again, when you are recording your items, those items should be flexible. ඒ කියන්නේ ඔයාට ඕනේ වෙලාවක ඒක change කරගන්න පුළුවන් වෙන්න ඕනේ. ඒ කියන්නේ land එක. Now let's say in 2025 you have recorded your land value in the historical cost basis. Okay, in 2026 what you are doing is you are reevaluating your land. ඔයා revalue කරලා new price එක දාන්න හදනවා 2026 වල. එතකොට ඒ වෙලාවේ මෙතන historical cost basis නේ. මෙතන revaluation basis. එතකොට change කරගන්න මේකේ 25 එකේ මේ method එකේ කරනවා 26 එකේ මේ method එකේ කරනවා නම් there should be flexibility to change these things. ඒ වගේම when you are classifying the elements, ඒ කියන්නේ asset, liabilities, equity කියලා classify කරනකොට there should be the similar items and dissimilar item. ඒ කියන්නේ you should be able to identify the item easily. ඒ කියන්නේ මේක asset ද නැත්නම් liability ද කියලා ඔයාට confuse වෙනවා නම් මේක asset එකටත් classify කරන්න පුළුවන් නැත්නම් income එකටත් classify වෙන්න පුළුවන් කියනවා නම් it is not a good thing, right? That means you don't know, you don't have the confidence that will it be an asset or will it be an income. So in that it should not be like that. එහෙම වෙන්න හොඳ නැහැ. asset කියනවා නම් ඒක asset වෙන්න ඕනේ, income වෙනවා නම් income වෙන්න ඕනේ. ඒ කියන්නේ asset එක මේව තමයි asset වගේ අපි categorize කරන්න ඕනේ. මේව තමයි අපි income කියලා categorize කරන්න ඕනේ කියලා you should be able to confident. If there are any confidential, any inconfidential items are there means it's better to avoid those things. And effective aggregation. Effective aggregation means what? ඒ කියන්නේ financial statement පහක්ම හදලා ඒව පහෙන්ම ඔයාට ගන්න පුළුවන් තොරතුරු ඔක්කොම aggregate කරලා financial performance එක, financial health එක කොහොමද? දැන් profit P&L එක අපි කරනවා නම් profit or loss කරනවා නම් අපිට හඳුනා ගන්න පුළුවන් කීයක්ද profit, කීයක්ද loss කියලා. ඒ වගේම balance sheet එකකින් පුළුවන් අපිට asset amount එක කීයක්ද, liability amount එක කීයක්ද, equity එක කීයක්ද කියලා we can identify. Changes of equity වලින් equity එකේ මොනද transactions අපි කරලා තියෙනවද කියලා අපිට හඳුනා ගන්න පුළුවන්. ඒ වගේම cash flow statements වල what are the cash inflows, cash outflows කියලා හඳුනා ගන්න පුළුවන්. එතකොට overall you should know how to based on again මේ ඔක්කොම financial statements වලින් overall financial health එක කොහොමද කියලා identify කරගන්න පුළුවන් වෙන්න ඕනේ. So if it should be an effective presentation, ඔයා present කරන financial statements ටික effective වෙන්න ඕනේ නම් මේ characteristic should be there. Okay, that is what explaining these are the things they are explaining here. And the next thing, here there are some terms: physical capital maintenance, financial capital maintenance, and cost constraint. So here physical capital maintenance means what? Physical capital maintenance means what? Here, physical capital maintenance means what? So normally, concept of the capital and capital maintenance means when we are earning more profit, when a company entity actually earn the profit, that is what here capital maintenance is. Here, first of all, the physical capital maintenance indicates that profit is earned only if the entity operating capital capability at the end of the period exceeds the at the start of the period. That means now let's say ඔයාගේ company එකේ at the beginning you have produced 5,000 units. හරිද? We have produced 5,000 units at the beginning of the year. 2025 beginning of the year you have produced 5,000. එතකොට කියමු 2026 එකේ අන්තිම වෙනකන් ඔයා 5,000 unitsම තමයි produce කරලා තියෙන්නේ. ඒ produce කරපු amount එකේ වෙනසක් නැහැ. ඒ කියන්නේ you didn't increase your operating capability. Operations වල efficiency එකක් නැහැ. 5,000 unitsම තියෙනවා නම් අපි කියමුකෝ 5,000 unit selling price එක 100 කියලා. 100 කියන්නේ ජනුවරි month එකේ 5,000 units produce කරලා තියෙනවා. එතකොට month of January your total amount of the sales revenue will be 5,000 times 100, that will be 5 lakh. 5 lakhs තමයි ඔයාගේ sales revenue එක. එතකොට January February කියලා එහෙම ඔක්කොම පහුවෙලා අන්තිම December month එකේ 2025 December month එකෙත් තියෙන්නේ 5,000 unitsමයි. ඒ කියන්නේ December month එකත් 5,000 unitsම තියෙනවා නම් what does it mean? ඔයාගේ operational capability එක increase වෙලා නැහැ. There is no any efficiency in your operations. So that is what the physical capital maintenance is. Physical capital maintenance එකේ කියන්නේ මොකද කියනවනම් මේ if there is an increment in your units, ඒ කියන්නේ 5,000 ඔයා January month එකේ produce කරලා තියෙනවා. එතකොට month of December වෙනකොට number of unit has increased as 10,000. That means your operating efficiency is high. In that cases, you can earn more profit. Company wanted to run in a smoothly efficient way, there should be higher physical capital maintenance. Okay. And then financial capital maintenance. Financial capital maintenance කියන්නේ මොනවද? That means profit is earned when the money value of the net assets at the period exceeds. That means if you are, that means now let's say a company, you are telling a particular company is profitable. So based on what you are telling that the company is profitable, you are just looking at the net assets. Again, net assets එකේ increment එකක් වෙලා තියෙනවා නම් we are telling that the company is profitable. So here financial capital maintenance කියන්නේ අපේ net assets වල. Net assets කියන්නේ what does it mean? Asset minus liability. අපි asset එකෙන් liability එක deduct කරාම අපිට එන්නේ net assets. Net assets වල increment එකක් වෙලා තියෙනවා නම් we are telling the company is profitable. So that is what the financial capital maintenance is. If a company wanted to run in a profitable way, there should be a financial capital maintenance. Okay. So here physical capital maintenance means they are talking about the operational capability. Financial capital maintenance means they are talking about the net assets. Okay. And the next one is cost constraint. Cost constraint means what? Cost constraints indicates that now let's say to produce a product you have a more cost. Your revenue එකට වඩා cost එක වැඩියෙන් තිබ්බොත් it's not a good sign, right? So you should know how to manage your costings, how to manage the cost and how to increase the revenue. That is what the cost constraint is. Okay, so these concept you should know. The what is physical capital maintenance, what is financial capital, and those are things you have to keep it in your mind. These terms, each and every term has the different meaning. So please keep it in your mind these things. Uh, the next one. Yeah, once you have complete this chapter, these are the learning outcomes. I hope this conceptual framework is clear. So, do you have any issues with this conceptual framework? If so, please let me know. Okay. So the next one we have learned about this conceptual framework now. That is the basic thing. The next one you should aware of the presentation of financial statement. That means I told you from the conceptual framework we are developing our LKS as well as the SLFRS now. So here we will just briefly look at what is this LKS1. So here LKS1 telling us how we are going to present our financial statement. That is the major concept of this LKS1. Okay, so when you're thinking about this LKS1, here for each and every financial standard, for each and every these standard, we have some sort of objectives. These standards will give us you should know the objective of the particular standard, what is the purpose, what are the things they are explaining, and what are the disclosures, what are the measurements things they are explaining. Those things you should be aware. So we will look at one by one. So here LKS1 telling us how we are going to prepare this general purpose financial statement. That means normally you all know that we are preparing 5 financial statements. No, while we are preparing those financial statements, we are telling those are the general purpose financial statement. So those general purpose financial statement, how we are going to prepare. This LKS1 giving us the proper format to prepare these financial statements. Okay. So here these are the key definitions that is coming under the LKS1. So you should know how to define the term general purpose financial statement, what is materiality, what is total comprehensive income. Okay. So here, general purpose financial statements means in order to evaluate the financial performance. Again, financial performance එක evaluate කරන්න, what is the financial statement we are preparing? To evaluate the financial performance, we are preparing P&L, profit or loss account. Financial position එක evaluate කරන්න තමයි අපි balance sheet එක හදන්නේ. Case flow එක හදනවා අපි case inflows වයි case outflow වයි to recognize those things. And the changes of equity we are preparing in order to identify මොන වගේ transactions we are doing under the equity. ඒ කියන්නේ retained earnings වලට මොනවද වෙලා තියෙන්නේ? If there are any revaluation reserves are there, අපි dividend දීලා තියනවාද අපේ shareholders වලට shareholders ලට. එහෙම those kind of transactions will come under the changes in equity. Then the next one is notes. Notes means in financial statement, we are recording the information in a shorter way. No? Now, let's say in the financial position, that means in the balance sheet, PPE, property plant equipment කියලා ඔයා record කරනවා 25 lakhs. Okay. Again, how this 25 lakhs has come? You don't know කොහොමද මේ 25 lakhs ආවේ කියලා. ඒ කියන්නේ you can purchase a property or property plant equipment එකක් purchase කරලා තියන්න පුළුවන්, විකුණලා තියන්න පුළුවන්, revalue කරලා තියන්න පුළුවන්. There might be so many transactions coming under the PPE. So what you are doing is the explanatory way explanations you will provide in the notes. Notes එකේ ඔයා හදලා තියෙනවා property plant equipment එක. ඒකේ you may mention purchase කරපු ඒවා මේවා, විකුණපු ඒවා මේවා, revaluation ඒවා මේවා කියලා දීලා තියෙනවා. එතකොට general purpose financial statements කියන්නේ මේ පහම එකතු කරලා තමයි අපි කියන්නේ general purpose financial statement. මේවා financial performance එක evaluate කරන්න, position එක බලන්න, cash flows ටික බලන්න, ඒ වගේම changes in equity එක බලන්න, notes informations provide කරන්න. We are preparing this general purpose financial statements. Okay. And the next one is materiality. Here, materiality indicates that omissions or misstatements are material if they could individually or collectively influence the economic decisions of users. Materiality depends on the size and nature of the omission, misstatement and judgment in the surrounding circumstances. ඒ කියන්නේ when you are auditing කියන්නේ මොනවාද? ඒ කියන්නේ accounting concept එක වෙනස්, auditing කියන concept එක වෙනස්. When we are preparing the financial statement, අපි follow කරනවා conceptual frame එක follow කරලා අනිත් standards ටික follow කරලා අපි ඔක්කොම financial statements ටික හදනවා. ඒ කියන්නේ financial statements ටික හදන්න අපිට මාස ගාණක් යනවා. එතකොට independent auditor කෙනෙක් ඇවිල්ලා එයාට කියන්න පුළුවන්ද අපි management එකේ හදපු ඔක්කොම accounting statements ටික 100% true කියලා 100% correct කියලා යාලට කියන්න බෑනේ. එතකොට what they are doing is they are giving a reasonable assurance. ඒ කියන්නේ එයාලා කියනවා financial statement හදපු financial statements ටික free from material misstatement. ඒ කියන්නේ material ඒ කියන්නේ materiality කියන්නේ how to say the not it's not a big thing. That means now let's say if you have missed to record 100 lakhs revenue in the revenue in the statement, it is a material item. ඒ වගේම if you have forgot to record 100 rupees transport expenses in your financial account financial reports, it is immaterial item. Then auditor කෙනෙක් ඇවිල්ලා කියනවා මෙතන material mistakes මොකුත් නැහැ. That is what the materiality is. Materiality concept එක වැදගත් වෙන්නේ මේ financial statements වල වැරදි වෙන්න පුළුවන්, mistakes වෙන්න පුළුවන්, omissions වෙන්න පුළුවන්. ඒ mistakes material විදිහට නැති වුණත් ඒ කියන්නේ immaterial වුණත් ඒවා ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ. ඒ කියන්නේ ඒවා economic decisions වලට බලපාන්නේ නැහැ. ඒ වගේම අර omissions ටික ඒ කියන්නේ intentionally accountant කෙනෙක් 1 lakh revenue එක රෙකෝඩ් කරන්නේ නැතුව ඉන්නවනම් ඒක material mistake එකක්. ඒ කියන්නේ ඒක බරපතලම වෙනවා ඔයාගේ profitability එක. position එක මේ ඒකටත් effect වෙනවා. It is a high there might be a high impact. So the materiality concept will come to the matter here. Even though there is a mistakes or omissions, if it is material, you have to consider. If it is immaterial, the depend on the size. It will be depend on the size and nature of the omission. Okay, is it clear? Materiality concept, is it okay? Okay. Total comprehensive income means what? Here, normally, when we are preparing the financial statement, sorry, when you are going to prepare a P&L. හරි income statement එක prepare කරනකොට මෙතන ඔයා sales දානවා, ආය cost of sales දානවා, gross profit එක ගන්නවා, ඊට පස්සේ other income එක ගන්නවා, ඊට පස්සේ expenses ටික admin expenses තියෙනවා, ආය distribution expenses, finance expenses කියලා ඔක්කොම දාලා net profit එක ගන්නවනේ. After the net profit there might be a comprehensive income. Other comprehensive income කියලා එකක් තියෙනවා. Other comprehensive income කියන්නේ that is arises the income that is arising not due to the normal events. ඒ කියන්නේ sales එක කියන්නේ ඒක normal event එකක් නේ. ඒ කියන්නේ ඔයා received let's say you have received a rent income. Let's say you have received an interest income. ඒව ඔක්කොම normal income procedures, normal activities ටික. ඒවට අමතරව if you have earned any other income ඒ කියන්නේ revaluation වලට එන income එක revaluation එක කරපු නිසා ඔයාට gain එකක් එනවනම් අපි ඒක දාන්නේ other comprehensive income එකට. Okay, for the other comprehensive income you can remember the example that is revaluation gain. How it will be revaluation gain is coming? Again, now let's say you have a building. You have a building that cost is 5 lakh. Now in the current market, you have revalued that. So the revaluation amount is 650,000. Okay, now value has increased. No, so in the financial position, you will record this amount under. You will put under the non-current asset. Building කියලා ඔයා රෙකෝඩ් කරන්නේ this 650. මේ 650 එකත් 500 එකටත් මේ ඩිෆරන්ට් එකක් කියලා තියෙන්නේ 150 ඩිෆරන්ට් නේ. ඒ ඩිෆරන්ට් එක තමයි ඔයා මේ ගත්ත revaluation gain එක. Because of the revaluation you have earned this much revaluation gain. එතකොට what you have to do is you have to put under the total other comprehensive income. Under that you have to put building revaluation gain කියලා 150,000 පෙන්නන්න ඕනේ. Okay, so these are the things, these are the definitions you have to remember regarding this under the LKS 1. And rather than that, now the next things you will discuss the revaluation surplus කියන්නේ මොනවද? What does it mean? Actuarial gains and losses. And foreign currency, if we are doing any foreign currency transactions, what we are going to do. And other things, the components and purposes of the financial statement. Those things we will discuss. These things, the remaining part we will discuss in the next class. So let me know if you have any issues so far. So the remaining part we will cover in the next session. Okay. Any questions? Okay. Okay, then thank you. We will meet on next session. Thank you. Good night.